Now, I know you're only here for one thing and one thing only. I get it. I know what you're here for. It's my beautiful eyes. No, I'm joking. I'm not even going to try doing that. It's just stupid. Well, you're here for the diss, the beef, the eruption that we've had over the past few weeks. But this is a mixtape review. I'm going to be reviewing the whole mixtape. I can't just talk about that one thing for the whole video. So you're going to have to be patient, guys, because there's a lot of tracks that we need to talk about first. But we will get to that. Don't you worry. It's a very pivotal part of this mixtape, and honestly, without that, the hype for this mixtape may be a lot lower than it already is. Because let's be honest, guys, let's just get straight into it. This isn't that good. The bars aren't that great. The rapping is fine. The production is... oof. The production is aware. But, you know... it's just not that good. Don't get me wrong, J. Cole has a massive following, and a lot of people would be listening to this and praising this without all that drama, but I just think the general conversation would be a lot different if it weren't for that one track. Because what are we getting new here from Cole? What are we getting different? What are we getting that's mind-blowing? We just need to stop putting him on this huge pedestal, because a lot of this mixtape is him trying to be in his best rapper alive, best rapper on the planet era, and yet I'm not even hearing that on like 90% of the songs. It starts with Pricey. Right out the gate, there's a friggin' Rick and Morty simile. We don't need that. It's not a clever line, and it's just a bit goofy. The delivery, the flow, it remains exactly the same for like way too long. It gets boring super quickly, and then you do get to a decent chorus from, you know, Ari Lennox, who had some nice vocals. I don't think she's utilised in the best way. I think you could have had her in a more exciting fashion, but it's okay, I guess. And then the Dave Chappelle thing later on. Like, what is Cole talking about? Why is he talking about being cancelled? Why is he referencing Dave Chappelle as if he's going to get cancelled like Dave Chappelle does? What are you talking about? You don't have those kinds of bars. And what? You've got Hunting Wabbits, which has the most lethargic delivery you could imagine. The most J. Cole delivery ever, where it's just so subdued. There's no impact. There's no variation in how he's rapping from line to line. There's no interesting hook. There's no catchy moments. And hip-hop isn't always about the catchy moments, right? But you need to engage the listener with your bars. You need to engage the listener with how you're rapping. And he can't do that across most of this mixtape. And he really hasn't done that a lot in his career, let's be honest, man. HYB as well. Just the hook is so dead. The Central C feature just feels out of place, really, because I don't really know how he fits over this type of production. His lines are as bad as it gets as well. Like, Jesus Christ, I've already talked about how I don't understand the hype for Central C in a previous video. We don't need to go over that again, but this verse just adds to what I'm saying about him. Fever is the most blatant Drake song he's ever done. Like, what is he doing here? Is he trying to hide the fact that he's sounding a lot like Drake here? Because if he's trying, then he's not doing a good job, because even everything down to the topic of the song, this is so obviously Drake. And then the voice note, or the voice message at the beginning as well, where the girl's like, I just know you're so busy right now. I know you're trying to be the best rapper in the world, so you can't get back to me and all this. It's just so cringe, man. Oh my god. Like, he's trying to get girls, like phoning in these girls, talking to him, trying to get in contact with him, but he just can't get in contact right now, because he's just trying to be the best rapper in the world. He's so busy doing that. Come on. I've already mentioned how a lot of the bars, individual bars, just aren't even that good, but 3001, I'll read it out to you, man. Thought I used super glue, how this gun stick to my hand. I don't even tote no pistol, but that shit sounded hard. Nothing about that line even sounded hard, and the fact that he has to be like, well, I'm going to mention a gun, but actually I don't even own a gun. It's not funny, it's not clever, and it's just a really bad line. Like, and people will excuse it and be like, look guys, he's saving all his best bars for the fall off. That's what they'll do. They'll try and tell you that he's saving all his best bars for the fall off, whenever that's even going to come out. If it does this year or whenever, who knows? But that means that the bars on this album are supposed to be bad then, and it's okay for them to be weaker. But you're still gassing this up though, right? You're still saying this is an amazing project, even though his best bars are coming later. Don't worry, wait for those ones. Come on. I'm not even going to go into the whole trans line that he brings out as well on Pie, because I just find that whole thing really, really distasteful. And I'm probably not the person to be speaking on whether it should have been or should have not been said. But it's, again, not even that clever. And the fact that he adds period at the end of it as if he just like did some mic drop moment. I mean, is this the line he was referencing with Dave Chappelle at the start of the mixtape as well? Like, oh, this is what I'm going to get cancelled for. Don't worry, guys. There's going to be things I'm going to get cancelled for in this mixtape. Don't just you wait. Like, we just don't need to be punching down like that. It's not even a clever line. And I'm sorry, but the people that are acting like this is one of the best rap songs of the whole year, and it has one of the best rap verses of the whole year. Where? Like, what are so good? Even Ab-Soul isn't that great on this track. Like, what are people hearing, man? And I like Ab-Soul. I certainly like him more than Cole, but what are people hearing? Call me a noob or a person that shouldn't have opinions on hip-hop all you want, because I'm sure there'll be somebody that tries it in the comments, but I don't care how good your verse is, even though these verses aren't even that good to begin with, by the way. But if your verse is that amazing, then you need a good beat to back it up to. I'm sorry, but your verse and your beat needs to be interesting to listen to. This track Pie, it just sounds like so dated. It sounds stuck in the 90s, and Cole's entire lifespan has just been stuck in old beats. I mean, a lot of these beats are dead. They just sound rehashed from other artists that have done similar beats for years now. He needs to move on, and he needs a better beat selection generally too, because aside from Ready 24, which I think is probably the best beat on the whole album, I can't really remember or cycle through any through my brain, even though I've been listening to this album a few times now. And look, the Ready 24 beat is good, but for as good as it is, I can't excuse the second verse where he's just putting out the most basic rhyme scheme you could imagine. And the flow is fine, I guess, but everything is just like cop, thought, shot, got, and the actual individual bars that lead you to there are like referencing Patrick Mahomes in the most basic way ever, like as if he just needed a name drop for the sake of a name drop. I don't know, man, I'm just not feeling it. Like, this guy is heralded as one of the big three, and I'm sorry, I don't want to, completely poop all over his talent, because there is talent there. I'm not saying he hasn't got talent. There is definitely something there, but to be in the big three, you need to be dropping better bars than this. Like, you need to be better than this. You need better beat selections than this. What got him in the big three to begin with? Like, who decided this? I've seen this conversation happen for a few weeks now, even before he dropped this mixtape as well. And I'm really starting to understand where people are coming from as well. Like, who decided he was part of this big three? Drake's got the commercial appeal, and he has had albums that are considered classics as well, and rapped pretty well over the years, even if he's fallen off, quality wise, because he just drops albums every year now and has like 25 tracks on them, to the point where I don't even think his biggest fans go back to every single song, let's be honest. But the commercial success, the huge numbers, is hard to deny. Like, it would be like saying Cristiano Ronaldo isn't one of the best footballers of the past 10 years. Like, you have to at least acknowledge he's there. Kendrick is Kendrick, you can't deny that. I mean, everything down to the bars, to the beat selections, to the classic albums, to the impact, to how basically no one really touches his pen game in the modern day. That explains why he's there. But why is Cole there? I mean, these mixtapes don't give me enough reason to justify him being in the big three. And again, discredit my rap opinions all you want, but I don't care, man. I'd much rather see Tyler in there. I think Future has more of a reason to be in there than J. Cole. I think Travis at this point probably does too. I'm sorry, man, but nah. And if it weren't for all of that to at least question why he's here in the first place, we have to address the elephant in the room. Because we all know what happened a few weeks ago, where Kendrick Lamar hopped onto Like That and told basically Drake and Cole that there is no big three, it's just Big Me. Which, was a pretty big moment of the 2024. You can't deny that. And it went to number one too. And yeah, Kendrick was mad. And Kendrick wasn't really directly going for Cole. But Cole was getting caught in the crossfire for sure. But he was really going at Drake. So what did Cole do? Well, they did 7-minute freestyle, 7-minute whatever drill, whatever you want to call it, man. No, to start off with, similarly to the Rick and Morty reference, which was just really corny, he opens the track with a Simpsons reference and says that Kendrick fell off like the Simpsons. Look, I know Simpsons isn't as good as it used to be, but what kind of line is that? I mean, you're going straight in for the jugular and you just go with that. I mean, it's just a bad way to start things off. Kendrick hasn't even fallen off at all in any metric as well. His numbers are still great. The general love from fans is still there too. It's not like he's dropped an album that completely flopped. He hasn't ever done that. So where you're getting that from, I don't know. And then he proceeds to start talking about Kendrick Lamar's albums and does like a whole reviewing shtick thing where he's like, your first one was a classic, yeah, your second one was this, your third one was this, and in the process he basically gets the album order completely wrong because he basically thinks that Section 80 doesn't exist, but I'm assuming he's talking about Good Kid, Mad City being the classic. the To Pimp a Butterfly is the one that put people to sleep, and then the third one is the one where he was in his prime. And J. Cole on this whole album is trying to tell you that he's in his prime and he's just entering his prime. And yet again, what does this track tell us about anybody that's in their prime? I don't know. First beat, by the way, isn't even that good. Once it gets to the conductor beat, it's a lot better. But again, Cole is just throwing these lines out, basically being like, you know, you're too small to enter the boxing ring with me. You do like 4 albums in 12 years, which is supposed to be an insult, which I don't understand how it is, because like, who cares if an artist takes time with their work? They don't have to be dropping every year. It's a terrible bar. I don't know why I see people keep defending it. And also how he doesn't really want to be doing this, which I told you all on Friday when this song dropped, that it was so obvious that Cole didn't want to do this. I will roll the tape. I didn't post it on YouTube, but I will roll the tape right now for you to all see. It's just this whole aura to the song where it feels really like Cole doesn't want to do this. I mean, he obviously appreciates and respects Kendrick, and it just kind of comes across like he had to do this, when he actually probably didn't have to do it. Especially he didn't have to do it before Drake said anything. But the whole feeling and the vibe to the track and so many of the lines just feel half-hearted. Like he's not really fully in this. He doesn't really want to do it. And he kind of says it himself here. It's exactly this tweet that brought me to that opinion as well. It just kind of really comes across like there's just not really a want there, and Cole is just kind of ticking boxes. And now, 3 days later, he's regretting doing it, and he might even be taking it off streaming. I'm so sorry, guys, but this is not like GOAT behavior at all. And at the end of the day, it's fine to admit you're wrong and fine to go, you know what, I shouldn't have done that. But you had every opportunity to not do this in the first place. Why did you do it to begin with if a few days later you're going to tell everyone that you shouldn't have done it? And why were Cole stans trying to tell us that he washed Kendrick? Where is the washing here? He doesn't even believe he should have done it to begin with. We all knew he shouldn't have, and we all knew that he didn't want to do it and his heart wasn't in it. But we still had people trying to tell us that he was washing Kendrick. Where? On this track, where is the washing? Oh, your hands are too small to box? This is like playground insult. Look, he even says, and I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, that these are just warning shots, which he says on the track himself. But if they're just warning shots, then why are you regretting doing it to begin with? The whole thing is just pretty silly now, to be honest. And yeah, I think a lot of people are going to look at Cole a little differently because he stepped into the ring, attempted to throw some jabs, but couldn't back it up. And like I say, it's okay to just go, you know what, I shouldn't have done that. I might change my mind on that. Because, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, really. People really do need to give people an easier time. Because admitting you're wrong or admitting you've made a mistake, that shouldn't be a sign of weakness. But in this context, it was supposed to only be warning shots, and yet he's still saying, I've made a mistake. It's just all not adding up. It almost seems like he just has realised that he can't handle the heat that he might get from Kendrick, and he's just changed his mind. But it was obvious from the get-go that he didn't want to do it. His heart was not in this track. The bars aren't that hard. His flow is a bit subdued. You can just tell. He even says on the track himself he didn't really want to do it. And I just think if you didn't, why did you do it in the first place? It's just a little silly. Anyway, who knows where we go from here? I'm not entirely sure, but it's not a great look for Cole at this stage. And he definitely never washed anybody with that track. He definitely didn't wash anybody with that track. I'm sorry, even if he never walked it back and said, I regret doing this on the Dreamville Festival stage, he didn't wash anyone before that. Like, let's just keep it clear. Like there was no washing. The bars weren't that great, and he was having sleepless nights trying to tell everyone that To Pimp a Butterfly was mediocre. What does that say? Yeah, overall, I mean, it's no surprise to anybody that I'm going to be giving this a 5 out of 10. I think the only reason I've reviewed this is for the whole beef to begin with. To be honest, I probably would have skipped this, but I think everything going on and him now changing his mind on it, there's just too much to talk about to ignore it. But yeah, like I say, to summarise what I've already said, the bars aren't that great. There's a lot of corny lines. The flows, the delivery is samey throughout. The beat selection is dated. And there isn't enough here for me to consider this guy one of the best of our times. I'm sorry, man, but I just don't see it. Let me know your thoughts, so thank you for watching. Subscribe, check out my Patreon as well, that'd be wonderful. Comment below and let me know your thoughts on this, if you agree, disagree. Thank you, have a good day, goodbye.